Franz Kafka is one of those writers that I just feel like is known by all. His work has been so influential to so many different literary pieces, and even outside of the literary world, in just storytelling in general. Last month, I had the privilege of going to the Morgan Library and experiencing the Franz Kafka exhibit. This exhibit had Kafka's literary manuscripts, correspondence, diaries, and photographs related to Kafka, including the original manuscripts of his novella, The Metamorphosis. It was a really cool exhibition that showed off all these different pieces of literary history that could have been easily lost to time. I have to say it was fascinating seeing all the original handwritten German manuscripts, as well as just being able to piece together the story of Kafka's life. All of this stuff I found extremely fascinating, and turns out as I was visiting one of my local bookstores in Brooklyn, I found this really cool printing of a 1963 version of The Castle. So I had to get it. The Castle is a very distinguished book because it was Kafka's last, and it was actually left unfinished because of Kafka's death in 1924 from tuberculosis. This book is notorious for not actually having a conclusion because he died while writing the book. It just ends on a regular old sentence. The novel, actually interestingly enough, was never actually supposed to be released. Kafka in his will specifically stated that he wanted none of his works to be published after his death, but his editor saw this book as so good he had to publish it. So this is The Castle. Now, some people are going to be a little mad that I'm doing this, but look at that. Perfect. So much better. Are you ready? Moment of truth.
Uh-oh.
No way!
Oh, that was so cool. Is it a fat one?
I'm currently on chapter 5 and 74 pages into The Castle, and I have to say, the way that the story is told, it feels very unsettling and almost dreamlike. Everything's kind of happening around him without rhyme or reason. Our main character, Kay's presence is definitely not wanted. He is a land surveyor. Basically, he thought he was told by the count that he needed to come to this town, but basically everyone up to this point has basically been telling him he needs to get permission to be in this town, whether that's from the count or later he gets this letter from this man named Clam telling him to meet with the mayor, which actually at this point right now where I'm at, he is meeting with the mayor. This is like his first time seeing the mayor. At one point he meets Frida, who is Clam, the person he got the letter from's mistress, and he actually gets with her, which kind of puts him in an odd situation. I don't know if any of that made sense. All I have to say is it's actually beautiful. So nice. Check this out. I got one of the new Sunday series, and that one's so cute. I swear, these are the last ones. The book. It has to be the book. It has to be the book. If it's not the book, it's over. Come on, come on.
Oh. Oh no. She's gonna go for 6 months.
Now, I took some time off of reading this book because I got very busy with doing a lot of schoolwork and a lot of other reading, and I really wanted to just make sure that I was enjoying reading this book because it is complex. It's kind of like a critique on authority and procedures. All of these different authorities and procedures that are happening in this book almost feel kind of nonsensical. You got to go talk to this person, you got to go do this and go do this, and kind of following our character Kay kind of bouncing around through all these different authorities. Definitely has such a strong atmosphere that is just so captivating. Even though it does feel like there is no answers to a lot of the different things that are happening. For instance, right now, he was just waiting on Clam. He gets caught because he's not supposed to be in this place by this bigger guy. He runs into this little girl named Peppy, who took the position of Frida, who was the girl that he was with earlier, and now he's talking with the owner of the inn there, where he can go and find Clam. There's a lot of these different directions he can go and find Clam, and how all this different like misinformation can kind of stem on the most effective way to do stuff, and he's kind of questioning it at the same time, and the writing is just very beautiful and dense. These chapters are definitely interesting because we've kind of broken away from the traditional number scheme of naming chapters. It's about these sisters that basically just showing off the convolutedness of all the different relationships and different levels within the hierarchy and how it's all kind of affecting different relationships. Like a lot of different characters in these books, I feel like these two sisters have strong representations of different people within society. We have our character Amalia, and she kind of shows off the downfall of the individual and going against the power hierarchy of the whole system, which you're seeing that this whole system makes no sense. The whole thing is very convoluted, and I think even the people in power don't even really know what's happening. And we got Amalia here, who is an individual, and she kind of goes against, I think his name's Sortini. She kind of goes against him and basically rejects him, but he's at a higher status. So now she's going through all these consequences of doing this and being an individual within the society and not working within its constraints. And this chapter is called Amalia's Punishment. And I think that probably means just something's bad's gonna happen to her because of all this. This is actually really fascinating. Apparently in the first edition of this book ever printed, this is where the castle ends. Kay is fighting with Frida because Frida has left him basically. And yeah, so now I guess the book continues more so. This edition is very unique because it has a lot of different edited and deleted portions of different passages that I can read at the very end of the book. So we're very close to the conclusion. So close to being done. Last one ever.
It's the pillow one, maybe?
Maybe. Come on. Oh, it's the pillow one. That one's so cute. Actually, I feel like
really
that one.
cute.
That's the ending. The famous just ending mid-sentence as Kay is talking with Peppy about dresses and fashion. Very interesting. Yeah, this whole last chapter is basically just a long conversation with Kay and Peppy, Kay's kind of like partially listening. He's kind of more interested, as he is in this entire book, about the hierarchy of all the different barmaids and basically just how he can get farther up the social ladder through this information that seems basically meaningless. And yeah, so basically the end of this book kind of has a bunch of these just different fragments that could be added in the book or that were changed, but that's the actual conclusion to the book. I mean, and that's just it. No resolution, no clarification. It just ends. I don't know why, this ending feels kind of poetic. It kind of just shows the futility of searching for validation in an unreachable authority. There is no end to his search for validation. Kay's story just ends and can be seen as going on infinitely. And I think the message of this book is just that life is just kind of this endless, unresolved negotiation with power. Wow. Now, The Castle is a unique work even among all of Kafka's other novels. It utilizes a unique blend of existential dread and bureaucratic absurdity. The work is known for having a lot of similarities with his other book named The Trial, which basically both books just kind of critique bureaucracy. The book to me definitely feels modernist. I have my James Joyce over there, and it kind of has the same kind of fragmentation and interior thought of our lead character Kay as most other modernist works. The world of The Castle feels surreal to me, and it just feels like something just doesn't add up. There's also this backdrop of this eternal winter as shown on this front cover, and you just can't find understanding or reasoning for anything in the plot of this book. But on the same token, the book is so well worded and descriptive, and that just adds to the fragmentation, and overall just the inability to locate where things are. The book really feels like it drags on, but at the same time, I kind of feel like that's the point. You're kind of supposed to lose hope for Kay, and that kind of goes along with the ending, with it just ending, and I know that's because he died and he never actually got to finish this book, but it just kind of shows the idea that he will never reach his goal. Kay will never even make it to the castle. And all of this writing, all 400 pages, nothing really happens. He doesn't get anywhere. Though Kay really struggles and tries to climb this bureaucratic ladder, there's just no success. He's in the same place that he was when he began. Also, there's the fact that the whole village holds this castle in awe and believes their society is run smoothly and effectively. But obviously, this is just not the case, since it's an administration mess up to begin with that got Kay in this situation and brought him to this town. Him being invited to this town as a land surveyor when there's just no surveyor needed. And every time he meets a new person and tries to move his way up, it leads to no actual results. The second half of this book is where I kind of found the story to be getting a little bit weird, and it actually kind of surprisingly works. And also specifically, there's these moments where everything kind of turns hostile. Kay becomes increasingly more paranoid, exhausted, and just overall confused. His quest to be recognized as a land surveyor becomes secondary to a general struggle of legitimacy and meaning. Kay as a character is getting lost in his new environment. This all adds to the castle remaining as a symbol of unreachable authority. Communication is muddled, hierarchies are contradictory, and all efforts to climb the social ladder fail. We get a lot of unique characters in the castle, but to me, the most unique is Frida, and really just shows the intricacies of this world just through her and Kay's relationship. Their relationship stems from her proximity to Clam, who in this case is an authoritative figure. Their relationship kind of stems out of strategy for Kay. But don't get me wrong, there is a little bit of emotions tied to this relationship. They also kind of directly contradict one another. We have Kay, who is basically this stubborn rebellion against the system, but after they break up, Frida kind of goes away from Kay and kind of just fits back into the system and kind of starts following the rules and goes back to her old job. She becomes a kind of representation of compromise. We kind of get led on as the readers, though it's never strictly stated, that Frida, after going back to her old job, she kind of probably gets back with her original person, Clam. There's also the interesting fact of Kay's cheating, and it's kind of less about the fact of like clear infidelity, but more about like emotional betrayal. He prioritizes his obsession with the castle over their relationship, becoming kind of emotionally entangled with others, and he fails to properly give Frida the ability to have trust and loyalty. The Castle is one of those books you just have to read, and the praise for Kafka is just well deserved.